Shalom, everyone, to Living with the Times. This week, all of our segments will be connected to the Torah portions, but also with the current situation here in Israel. So we'll start. Today is Rosh Chodesh, Cheshvan, the 8th month of the year. And as we're going to see, this is a month of opposite energies. And we're going to see how that plays itself out. So first of all, there's two different ways that people refer to this month, the month of Cheshvan. Some people call it Mar Cheshvan. Mar is the word bitter, the bitterness of Cheshvan. And others take the same word Mar and just reverse the letters and call it Ram Cheshvan, the elevated month of Cheshvan. So what is the source of both of these things? So the simple understanding is, it's said that this is the only month of the year that there's no holidays or other than Rosh Chodesh. There's no celebrations. There's no holidays connected to the year. So it's called Mar Cheshvan. It's a little bit bitter, especially after the month of Tishrei, where we had Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Hoshana Rabbah, Simchat Torah, all these wonderful holidays. And then we have a month with no holidays. So some people refer to it as Mar Cheshvan. Others reversed it and called it the elevated Cheshvan. And an example of how we can understand this is from the Baal Shem Tov. On Simchat Torah, we see saying, acknowledging that God is Morid Atal, makes the dew to fall. And we switch to Mashiv Ruach or Morid Geshem, who makes the wind to blow and the rain to fall. And so when the Baal Shem Tov was davening one year, before he got to saying Mashiv Ruach or Morid Geshem, so he went like this: Mashiv Haruach u'Morid HaGeshem. Again, Mashiv Haruach. Mashiv Haruach means he makes the wind to blow. So it's as if he was making a motion of creating wind. And then he makes the rain to fall, as if the Baal Shem was trying to bring the rain down. But afterwards he explained to his students that he had another intent in mind, and that was the word ruach, the wind, is also the root of the word ruchniut, of ruach, of spirit, of spirituality. And geshem is the root of gashmiut, of materialism, of physical reality. So the Baal Shem was saying, enough of this spirituality. Sounds a little bit funny. Enough of this praying, enough of the holidays. It's now time to put it into reality. And that's why some people call this Ram Cheshvan, because now, after all of our New Year's resolutions and everything that we were hoping to accomplish this year, now we could get down to business and actually doing it. Another opposite of this month has to do with water and rain. Cheshvan is a water sign, and according to tradition, this week is the Parsha of Noach, and according to tradition, the flood began in the month of Cheshvan and rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And also on the 7th of Cheshvan, in the Amida, Mashiv Haruach Morid Geshem is acknowledging the rain, but it's not actually technically a prayer for rain. That we wait until the 7th day of Cheshvan, and then we start praying for rain. Because in the old days, people came from all over the world, especially Babylonia. And it was a long trek to get back home. So people didn't start praying for rain until people had a chance to get home. And that's approximately 2 weeks after the end of the holidays. So with water, so here in the flood, the water was very destructive. I think it was approximately 10, 12 years ago, there was that incredible tsunami in Southeast Asia that killed 180,000 people. In other words, water has a power and it can be very destructive. At the same time, water is life-giving. The Torah is compared to water. So here again, we have, is it bitter or is it elevated? Is water destructive or is it constructive? And then there's another one, which is called a common theme in Kabbalah and Chassidut, is light and darkness. And especially our next major holiday is Hanukkah, where we bring light into the darkness, into the shortest days and the longest nights. We bring light into the darkness. And this becomes a spiritual theme of our mission in this world as individuals and as Am Yisrael, is to bring light into the world. And here we can connect it to what is happening right now. There's no doubt as we start this month that since Simchas Torah, the horrific massacre that happened on Simchas Torah, there is we'll call it a taste of bitterness that we are experiencing. It's a hard pill to swallow. And yet, this month is a month that we have to turn it around. We have to turn it around. When Yosef finally reveals himself to his brothers, so he said to them, "You meant to do me evil. You sold me into slavery, but God meant it for the good." In other words, Yosef, he suffered tremendously from being sold as a slave. He ended up in jail for 12 years. But he could see, after he rose to the second most powerful person in the world, and that he had the opportunity to feed his family in the famine, he saw that it was for the good. And so again, we have this dual aspect to the month of Cheshvan, that we have to now pray that our government and our army, our defense forces, can do what they have to do to rid ourselves and the whole world from this kind of evil. And this is connected in the Sefer Yetzirah. Each of the 12 months is connected to a letter. In fact, the month is created through the letter. The letter of the month of Cheshvan is a nun. And a nun also has these opposite energies. Nun equals 50, which is the Jubilee year. It represents freedom. We received the Torah 50 days after coming out of Egypt. It represents the spiritual freedom of the Torah and our mission as a people. And we're told in the Talmud that the name of Mashiach is Yanun, from the letter Nun. Nun represents kingship, leadership. On the other side, the letter Nun represents Nefilah, nofel, to fall. And for this reason, David HaMelech, when he was writing Ashrei, which is according to the Hebrew letters, it's an acrostic, he didn't start a verse with the Nun, because he didn't want to start a verse with the meaning of falling. On Sukkot, we say, Harachamanu Yakim Lanu Sukkot David Hanofelet. We pray that God will lift up the fallen sukkah of David. Right now, we have this feeling of a fallen sukkah. Quite literally, the day after Sukkot and Simchas Torah is when this horrible event occurred. But now we have the power of the Nun is also the first letter of Nisim, miracles, and Niflaot, of wonders. And so all of us should pray that the bitterness that could be in this month is turned into sweetness, that the darkness that we are experiencing will be turned to light, and that we will see miracles and wonders, and we will free ourselves of this darkness of such evil in the world.